Brothers, the 2025 BMW 5 Series we test drove today is definitely a most familiar stranger to me. Why do you call it the most familiar stranger? I say it is familiar because I am the owner of an old 5 Series, and we have also test-driven the new generation of 5 Series. Speaking of unfamiliarity, this generation of models is not very common on Beijing roads at present. It is indeed rare. The test drive car we got this time is the newly added X-Drive M Sports package version of the 2025 model, and the suggested price is 505,000 yuan. In terms of appearance, the entire front of the car looks very powerful and full, with a large grille with active closing function. From a distance, it looks like a big black sunglasses covering your waist. As for the headlights, the daytime running lights are designed like two double quotation marks. The front bumper also uses some sporty shapes, and there are open-air guide slots on the left and right sides. Coming to the side of the car, the overall outline is very different from the traditional luxury brand mid to large sedans. The butt is much shorter, right? The two lines with particularly obvious creases make the side of the car look more three-dimensional. In terms of data, the body length is 5,175 mm and the wheelbase is 3,105 mm. The body size is definitely no problem. As for the wheels, the test drive car is equipped with optional 20-inch two-color M Sports wheels. The front tire width is 245 and the aspect ratio is 40. The rear tire width is 275 and the aspect ratio is 35. The brand is Pirelli's P0. The exterior features include adaptive high and low beam, panoramic image, keyless entry for the front seats, and very useful semi-hidden mechanical door handles. Well, the configuration is average, but the door handles are very attractive and need to be noted. Yes, the rear door is not particularly easy to close sometimes. You often need to fart to make some noise to let others know that you are driving a BMW. There is an Arabic number 5 on the C-pillar. If you want to show off, you are a boastful person. At the rear, the taillights are very flat, and underneath is a huge diffuser-like shape, but the exhaust is changed to a hidden design. The tail label X-Drive proves that this is a four-wheel drive version. Brother Yuan is too low-level. The soul of BMW is rear-wheel drive, but for users in Northeast, four-wheel drive is also a feature. After opening the trunk, the overall volume is at a normal level with the same level of models. There is a sunken storage box on each side, and there are two small hooks on the top. From the overall appearance, I think the exterior design of this generation of 5 Series models is extremely eye-catching. Of course, there is also a little controversy. Let's get in the car and watch TV now? In the interior, this generation of BMW 5 Series does look more luxurious than my generation of models, so it has improved. The overall wood grain decorative panel, including the crystal decorative strip, is also inlaid with ambient lights. Anyway, after lighting up at night, this small atmosphere is really very strong. Whether the air conditioning outlet of the Mercedes-Benz is now a hidden design, our four-wheel drive version can actually be equipped with a head-up display, and the standard 12.3-inch full LCD instrument is below. 306. What about the steering wheel? The M Sports package still uses a flat-bottom three-spoke design, and there is a set of paddles at the back. The feel and style of this are much better than the hexagonal double-spoke steering wheel of the ordinary version. It has to be this classic. Now, these crystal decorative parts are inlaid with many touch-sensitive multifunction buttons, including lights. The central control lock seat memory window and exterior mirrors of the air conditioning outlet still retain physical buttons, which are very useful. The central control screen has a 14.9-inch chip. Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8155P 5G network is optional. Overall, the expansion capability and intelligence level have kept up with the times, but if you want to say it is particularly easy to use, there is still a very obvious gap. Below there are two places to put mobile phones. The left one is for wireless charging of mobile phones, and the one on the right does not have a separate cup holder and the crystal knob. The paddle-type shift mechanism is now very common. It seems that everyone is too tired to complain, right? The volume of the double-leaf central armrest is quite average, and it is usually suitable for putting tissues or something. Well, tissues have to be put in the small push-button glove box. Although it is flocked, the volume is indeed quite average, which is somewhat unworthy of the storage box of the medium and large positioning door panel. The length is not as long as the model of my generation, but it is wider and higher. Anyway, I think it is better than the G38 for putting things, right? You have the final say on the front seats. The overall shape is very close to the previous generation of the old model. It does not emphasize wrapping. It is just wide, comfortable and thick. The color is a bit old-fashioned. Is it mocha coffee color? The rear seats are after all an executive-level sedan. Overall, although the backrest angle is not adjustable, it is still relatively soothing. The overall seat is very flat and wide. The bulge in the middle is much less than that of my generation of cars. It can actually accommodate people. At least the buttocks are okay, but your back is in trouble. It is necessary to treat cervical spondylosis. Friends, hey, the bulge is quite serious, so for this type of sedan I still advise everyone to just sit 2 people in the back row. You see, the 5 Series is the 5 Series. There is also a 5 here, just in case others don't know that the word 5 is everywhere. Alamo numbers, the rear row, the rear-wheel drive model, the platform is still very bulging. Then our car is equipped with an independent air conditioner in the back row. Wow, this configuration must be selected. We won't talk about the exterior anymore, let's talk about the standard configuration inside the car, which is dual-drive automatic air conditioning, and the rear independent air conditioning is optional. Then there is heated front seats, Harman Kardon audio, 2 sets of seat memory for the driver, and L2 level driving assistance. But it is not a full-speed adaptive cruise as standard, which requires optional equipment such as HUD, heated steering wheel, and 5G network, including ETC, including the rear air conditioning, which are all optional configurations. And in addition to some steering headlights, there are also some things that need to be optional. My goodness, anyway, you have to spend money if you think it's good. However, people buy cars at this price, and it seems that their spending power should be much stronger than ours. We brothers are just worrying about nothing. Well, isn't it right to worry less about salty radishes? It's mainly about worrying less about this. Spatial display. This is my standard driving sitting position. The pretty brother Yuan is 1.75 meters tall, and I am 1.73 meters tall in the back seat. This level, isn't it? The space is really amazing. Just a random gesture, 1 fist, 2 fists, 3 fists are much more than 3 fists. Anyway, it's not a big problem for me to cross my legs. Let's end the static part here, and then, let's talk about the driving experience. Let's go. In terms of driving, because we test drove the 530 version, it is equipped with a 2.0T high-power version of the engine, and the transmission part must be matched with the BMW ancestral one. The 8-speed Fortuner gearbox has received great reviews. The maximum power is 190 kilowatts and the peak torque is 400 Newton meters. This data is quite outstanding. The official 4-wheel drive version has an acceleration time of 6.5 seconds to 100 kilometers per hour, but we actually tested it and found that it can reach 100 kilometers per hour in 6.1 seconds. Well, it's quite fast. Anyway, I think this actual test result is indeed enough, and it is enough. It's not like some models that just barely pass. This is a very, very good result. This is simply a great result. And when testing this 4-wheel drive version and the 2-wheel drive version we tested last year, the starting feeling is very different. Although both have to brake 100 in third gear, the 4-wheel drive will have stronger grip at the moment of starting. You can clearly feel that the wheel slippage will be smaller. The 4 legs are different, but let's be honest, although they are both called 30, the overall acceleration atmosphere of the 530 and 330 is still very different. Is the 330 a little sporty and a little young? The 330 will deliberately convey the sonorous mechanical feeling of each gear shift to the driver. But the 530, although the gear shift speed is also very fast, it isolates everything from the outside of the entire cabin as much as possible. Don't want you to add trouble, right? Yes, it doesn't want you to have too much of this kind of communication, so you can see it now. Although the 3 Series and the 5 Series are both oriented towards comfort, the degree of comfort or the degree of deliberately retaining the sporty atmosphere is different in product positioning. Obviously our 5 Series is much more stable. As for driving modes, the 5 Series actually has quite a lot of them. First, it has a personalized mode, which is actually the comfort mode. You can understand it this way. Sports energy saving. Then for the sports mode, you can also DIY it and see to what extent your electronic control mode is turned off, right? You can also choose it yourself. Yes, there is a plus mode and a fully turned off mode. You can choose according to your needs. For commuting, I still strongly recommend the normal mode. Indeed, in this mode, the power is very smooth and linear, and even in Beijing, where the morning rush hour is congested and the roads are up and down, it feels that the power is also very responsive. What happens after I step on the accelerator? Anyway, it feels very consistent with my driving habits and my expectation of power burst. Of course, it is also possible that I am a BMW owner after all, and I may be used to the brand tone of driving this kind of car. If you sleep with it every day, you will of course get used to the energy-saving mode. How should I put it? It feels a little better than my generation of models, especially when you step on the power pedal deeply. Its downshift speed, including the feeling of this power burst, is deliberately hidden, not as exaggerated as my generation, not as shameless as yours. Is it hiding its face? Anyway, if you want to use it, it can be used. But I still think that this personality mode seems more balanced. If you want to save fuel, it is really fuel saving. What about neutral gliding? All kinds of things are arranged for you, but when driving in the city the power still feels a little bit slow. It can't be called meat slow, and both drive the 5 Series. Who cares about such a little bit of fuel money? Yes, so our personality mode is good for solid transportation. It is a sports mode, and it has another one in this sports mode, this simulated sound wave. Of course this thing is actually for the users of the system. It is not that important. Although I just said that the way its power is transmitted is different from that of the 330, the sensitivity of the power is not bad at all. In sports mode, the feedback of the entire power system is very positive as soon as you step on it. If you say that its current steering chassis is not sporty, there is nothing wrong with it but the power system. As long as you dare to step on it, it will still be there. Hey, after all, it is a BMW, right? But I have to complain that this car, the automatic start and stop, now there is no physical button for independent control, and there is no shortcut menu on the homepage. You need to press it every time to call out the menu and turn it on and off. I think this is a little awkward. Yes, it is a bit troublesome. And now, whether it is a 4-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive BMW, there is a start assist. This may be for users in the Northeast. After all, it is winter, so it is right for rain and snow, and it will be smoother when starting. But, well, this is the 4-wheel drive version. If you change to winter tires in winter, there is nothing more for the old friends in the Northeast to say. You can drive and play as you like. After all, it is a 4-wheel drive. But you can feel that this 4-wheel drive version is different from the 2-wheel drive version in terms of steering. There is no difference in the feel, but the boat radius is larger. Then you definitely need to make a choice. I think for users in Beijing, if you are not interested in the grip of this 4-wheel drive or you are used to driving a rear-wheel drive car, there is no need to buy a 4-wheel drive, but users in the Northeast do have some help with 4-wheel drive. Hey, I think there may be few people who really choose to buy a BMW with 4-wheel drive. Well, how should I put it? That is, you may not necessarily buy it, but if there are consumers who have this kind of demand, you have to match it to them so that they have room for choice. You can see that basically there are rear-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive versions in the same level. Some models may not have mechanical 4-wheel drive, such as Volvo, whose 4-wheel drive is a plug-in hybrid rear axle. Is this the motor? But since ours is not a plug-in hybrid model, it is just a 20T plus 48V mild hybrid model, so there is one. The timely 4-wheel drive is also useful, and it makes me feel at ease. What about the steering feel? This generation of BMW is really very light, right? Although the weight is increasing as soon as you get on the car, you will feel that you are driving a C-Class car with such a huge size and such an exaggerated wheelbase. How exaggerated is it? Look at what you said, it is still relatively light, at least it will not give you a feeling of driving control. Strong psychological pressure. Some cars feel heavy, and the large size will bring some inexplicable psychological hints, pressure and troubles to some drivers, but this car does not have any of them. After the speed increases, I think the gain with speed can only be regarded as normal performance, which is not in line with the original more stable feel. Now it is very urbanized, yes, so for all kinds of users if you are. For comfort. For comfort, the steering feel is definitely fine, but if you like driving, right? For those of us who like driving, the steering communication is a little worse. There is no good or bad, it's just a pure difference in orientation. Yes, it depends on what kind of people it suits. And what I just said is the 4-wheel drive version. When turning around, its turning radius is indeed slightly larger than the 2-wheel drive version, but do you think its steering response is very lagging? No, you think the steering is not so sharp and sensitive, not because of the steering but because of its chassis tuning style, which is too soft, which brings such an additional factor. As for the additional factor, the long wheelbase domestic BMW 5 Series, as far as I know, has cancelled the anti-roll bar, while the imported standard wheelbase BMW 5 Series has not cancelled it, so there are indeed some differences in the chassis of the two. This time we only represent the domestic long wheelbase models. This output point of view is because we haven't driven it yet. I feel that, overall, it is very soft, but the softness is not the same as that of the Mercedes-Benz E. The Mercedes-Benz E is softer, it pursues a floating feeling just like the Dragon Ball we watched when we were young. The car in the cartoon has no wheels, it feels like floating on the ground, the feeling of a small flying saucer. As for the 5 Series, after all, it was a product with some sports attributes back then, it wants to retain a little bit of such a soul, so it deliberately conveys some road information to you, but this road information is filtered layer by layer, that is, not much information is transmitted, right? Yes, very little, but it is also nonsense to say that there is no. So I think the orientation of comfort or the tuning style of comfort is somewhat different, but it is true that when you make an emergency line change, including when turning, you turn the steering wheel hard, and the center of gravity of the car body, the load transfer is very obvious. The car body will sit in one direction suddenly and then rebound. At this time, the steering will be completed. As for the comfort feeling, there is no good or bad, but if you like to drive hard in the mountains, then this car may have nothing to do with these things from now on, so you need to pay attention to this. However, the medium and large car is a long wheelbase sedan. Does anyone really take it to race down the mountain track? I think there are not many, even if the standard wheelbase has a little possibility, right? You want to make a 540 or something, right? Yes, oh, I feel regretful when I talk about this. I really regret not buying the 540 of the previous generation G38, with the standard wheelbase. You can see that this generation has a standard wheelbase or a long wheelbase. You didn't ask me for my opinion at the time because there is no 30T inline 6-cylinder. Did you know that? Oh, I want to learn from Mr. Luo and give myself a couple of shots. It's not that you are reluctant to buy it, Brother Yuan, so you let me do it. I really regret that I can only buy a used car now, but I am a little bit of a germaphobe and I don't want to buy it. What do you think of this thing? Oh my god, I have germophobia. Let's go back to the issue of the chassis. The current chassis is indeed comfortable enough, but it has nothing to do with sports. In the same class, if you want to talk about the most sporty, I'm afraid it's the Audi A6 with the C8 chassis that everyone can't remember. It's true, but let's not be too specific. Well, there is no good or bad difference. It's just a difference in style. The comfortable BMW seems to sell better than the original sporty BMW. Yes, the A6 used to be serious. Is this comfort model a change of style? Yes, the current engineer's research and development orientation is different. We forgot to mention the materials used in the chassis. The full double wishbone rear multi-link is not a big problem. Yes, the NVH part is indeed better than the G38. Don't look at it, there is no multi-layer soundproof glass, but because of the addition of 48-volt mild hybrid, it was the moment of starting up. The vibration was so slight that I thought it hadn't started up. But when I look at the dashboard, it's actually moving. Look at you, silly. The overall tire noise, including engine noise and wind noise, I think they are all very okay. This is a very obvious improvement over my generation of models. Well, very good. Well, let's summarize it as usual. The first advantage is that I think it must be BMW's ancestral power system. There is nothing wrong with it. This match is very good. The second advantage is the second row space, especially the leg space. You can cross your legs at will. Brother Yuan has no level. The space at this level is excellent. The third advantage is the comfort of the chassis and the comfort of the seats. There is no problem. For this generation of BMW Wuxi, it is comfortable. The main feature is comfort. After talking about the advantages, we have to talk about the small regrets. The first regret is the brake feel that I forgot to mention just now. I think the brake feel is too soft. The result is 36 meters and 6 meters. We actually tested it and felt good, but the feel is too soft. It's okay when you drive fast, but when I got on the car in the city, I felt that I needed to adapt to the strength of stepping on it. The foot needs to be more finely controlled. Yes, it's a little bit heavier. Oh my god, it's a little pitching. Then what's the second regret? Well, it's the comfort configuration. I think it's enough, but compared with some new car-making forces or new energy products of the same level, I still feel a little regretful. We think that the manufacturer can be more open and add more configurations. Then the third one is actually some details, just like the automatic start-stop that I mentioned just now. Can you not hide it so deeply? That's right. Aren't you testing Brother Yuan's intelligence? Can you give me a physical button? And the 5G and other smart car equipment are optional. Although 8155 is used now, the overall intelligence still needs to be improved. Let's talk about the discount. It can be bought for about 40 yuan, but who would complain that the configuration of their car is too high? Okay, let's stop here today. Friends, see you next time. Bye.